Wow.
Let things be. Let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change
Because you can't change God.
So let things be.
Let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You and me.
So you and me.
We'll live in peace.
We live in peace.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know
what anything is for.
What anything is for.
Unless I listen to.
Unless I listen to.
That still small voice.
I have a still small voice.
Telling me.
It's telling me.
This simple truth.
This simple truth.
That everything.
Everything.
It's for my good.
It's for my good.
So let things be.
Let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change
God. You can't change God.
So let things be.
Let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
And you and me.
So you and me.
We'll live in peace.
We live in peace.
I'm not this body.
I'm not this body.
But I love my body.
I'm amazing.
But I'm not this body.
I'm not this body.
That you see.
That you see.
I am as God.
I am as God.
Created me.
God created me.
And we are all
one family, one family.
And it's possible.
Yes, it's possible
to live in peace.
We live in peace, so let's go.
So let things be.
We let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
You can't change
God. You can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
And you and me.
So you and me.
We'll live in peace.
We live in peace.
Kumbaya.
Kumbaya.
Yay! Happy Sunday!
I know. Every Sunday we look forward to doing this and being here
sure do.
With you. It's a part of one of three things that we do every week. We have a Wednesday night class. It's been going on for about 15 years now.
Yeah.
We have an online ACIM class that's been going on for about 15 years. And if you'd like information on that, go to themightycompanions.com or glennganaway.com or yolanda.net. Lots of ways to find us, and YouTube as well. And we have with Jacqueline Eckert. We have a brand new program in I know. We're like start a little network here.
I know. I love the Friday night program.
I know.
It's really lovely, and
it's
fun and interesting. Yeah.
Because Jacqueline gives me a chance to really geek out on A Course in Miracles. Because most of the time, not most of the time, but a lot of times people go, okay, really, okay.
Got a lot of information.
I got a lot of information,
mm-hmm.
And it's so fun to talk about the major themes and principles in a Course in Miracles, and by looking at some of the other aspects of A Course in Miracles that we don't often go to.
Well, I want to point out that one thing that was really exciting to me about Friday night, and I hope if y'all get a chance to join, is that you're working with the teacher's manual, which is hardly ever read or talked about. And in that teacher's manual, there's some really valuable things, such as clarification of terms, which you went over last Friday night, because A Course in Miracles has a whole cosmology of the way that the words are used, you know, that we think we already know. So it's very useful to me, and I'm liking it a lot.
And it's still working on me because this week we talked about mind spirit, and the Buddhist concept of that word is bodhicitta.
Yeah.
The combination of the mind and the spirit, and those things, when they work together, we make really good decisions. Okay, so that's how the Buddhists put the concept of mind and spirit together. And the way the Course in Miracles puts mind and spirit together is that spirit exists as the created Son of God.
Mm.
And spirit acts on mind, acts on the one mind, right? We're not alone in the effects of our thinking. Remember
Right.
that lesson?
Right.
Right. So with the spirit, the collective spirit activates the collective mind.
Mm.
And we think we're individuals. We're in no part of that equation are we individuals, you know? And it's just kind of fun that we live in the world, and to understand that concept, be able to hold that concept in my head, it makes it harder for me to be fooled.
Oh,
you know,
how about that?
By rhetoric and every other thing. It's just, oh, I know where that's going.
Yeah.
That's leading to suffering, or that's leading to error or ignorance.
Well, that's, it's been really good. Once again, in this program, we're talking about the text, but also I like to read the lessons, because, the first 50 lessons to me are just, they're so glorious.
The cornerstones of A Course in Miracles are in the first 50 lessons.
Absolutely. And so I hope this is fun for y'all too. Today is lesson 17, and it says, I see no neutral things. I see no neutral things.
I see no neutral things.
I see no neutral things. Now, interesting, right? Okay. So she says this idea is another step in the direction of identifying cause and effect as it really operates in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You see no neutral things because you have no neutral thoughts. Guess what?
Well, the way I like to describe it is we're either trying to bring something into our awareness, trying to integrate something, or we're trying to push something away, reject or restrict something.
Yeah, and Glenn brought up earlier, because we were talking about this in the other retreat that we were on today, that this is a little different than Buddhist thought, because Buddhist thought has a
neutral quality.
Has a neutral quality.
There's things you like, things you don't like, and things you're neutral to.
And she specifically says, I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. And so it's interesting, because we were discussing that, and somebody brought up just a little, spat or whatever that they had with their partner over watching a TV show, and this person said that they said to their partner, okay, go ahead, I'm neutral about it, and watch your show. And then he sat there steaming all the way through the show because he was not neutral about it at all.
Yeah. So I think if we think about what's going on, and we're present to what the feeling or the awareness that, if we're present to the awareness that spirit is acting on our mind, we're present to that interaction, we could really say, you know what? I want more of that.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? Get that thing far away from me. Right? We're either doing this, like we're kind of going on this one side or the other of the fence there, about pushing something, about trying to integrate or expand something, or trying to limit or control it. So when we figure out what direction we're doing that, it's a lot of information about how our brain works, how we've been programmed. Because that's the whole thing about A Course in Miracles.
Right.
The mistake you make because you're not so happy and all this other stuff because you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
That's a pretty grand statement. You don't know who. What do you mean I don't know who I am? It's worth exploring. Another
thing that I like that I want to bring up with that statement is on Friday night program, I think it was the first program, you were talking about something and you said to Jacqueline, could anybody talk you out of being Jacqueline? And she sat there for a minute. She goes, well, I hope so. And I got what she was saying.
Yeah.
Because our our ego mind does all kind of tricks to us. But I just thought that was really funny, because things fall away, as Jacqueline pointed out, and eventually it will all
Jacqueline
fall
will
away.
fall away too.
Yeah. So eventually Yolanda will fall away, and eventually Glenn will fall away. And
I want it that way.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But in the meantime, we can rest in the knowledge that we are not alone and friendless, and that we are connected in the one mind.
So I'm going to talk about section 2 of the second chapter. So we're going to talk about the body today. Okay. The section.
Good thing I sang that song.
I know. The section today, one of the things, one of the most often quoted pieces in A Course in Miracles is, the body is a learning device. You familiar with that quote? The body is a learning device. That's the section we're going to look at today.
Yay, I love this
And
section.
it's the section on healing. What is the body and healing and a spirit? What does this all have to do with each other? So we're going to look at that today. It's really valuable to start off foundationally understanding what your body is for, why you got one, and why that's a good thing.
It is a really good thing. So before we get into the lesson, first of all, I would like to have a toast again to all of you.
We're toasting you today on this long weekend, on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday celebration day. His birthday was actually Friday, and stands up as an example who never stopped doing what was right, even though it cost him his life. He did what his was to do, and he even gave you that Moses speech in Tennessee. He goes, "We're going to Washington. We're setting this up all together, but I may not go there. I may not be able to go there with you.
Yeah.
I may not make it." You know, he didn't make it. But think about how much impact that man's life and that man's family has had on America, because he was so uncompromisingly himself. I think that's a really beautiful example of who we can all be, and each of us are vitally important as Martin Luther King or Gandhi or any of our other politicians or people that we can name. Each of us are quite necessary and quite influential too, if you think about it.
Awesome. So let's enter the moment that I like to call the Circle of Love meditation. And as I like to do, I will ring my bell, because I love my bell. And I'll ring it 3 times, and we'll take a deep breath on each bell ring. And the last time, let's let that out on an Om. And then we'll follow the meditation with a song that I really love that I want to share with you. Love Lifted Me, mixed with the mantra Twameva. So here we go. We together, you and I and all of us in this room, and all of us who are listening, we are co-creating an intentional, unconditional circle of love. And we can't help but create this circle of love, because that is what we are made of. We are made of divine, unconditional love, and it bubbles up inside of us. Let's just allow it to bubble inside of us, coming up through our senses and spilling out onto each other in the room and into the apartments and buildings that we live in, out on the streets, and into our states, our cities, and our country, and our world. This unconditional circle of love includes everything that we like and everything that we do not like. And we take all of it as learning. We celebrate our body today, which is our learning devices, and we celebrate the bodies of our ancestors, knowing that, and the lives of our ancestors, knowing that we are seated on land that once belonged to Native Americans. And in our neck of the woods, those Native Americans are called the Lenape. We also acknowledge that Black Lives Matter and Black trans lives matter. And we acknowledge and bring into the room that human consciousness is shifting. And with all of that, we know that we are held in the arms of Mother, Father, God. And so it is.
Oh, beloved, you are mother and father. You are friend and companion. You are riches. You are wisdom. You are the eternal divine guide. Twameva mata, chapita twameva. Twameva bandush, chasaka twameva. Twameva vidya, dravinam twameva. Twameva sarvam, mama deva deva. I was sinking in despair, far from the shore, feeling sorry for myself, sinking to rise no more. But the mighty Mama Deva heard my cry. From the waters lifted me, now safe am I. Love lifted me, oh love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. All my heart to love I give, ever to grace I'll sing. In this presence daily live, ever to faith I'll cling. Love so mighty and so true merits my soul's best songs. Faithful, loving service to all life belongs. Twameva mata, Chapita Twameva. Twameva Bandush Chasatka Twameva. Twameva Vidya Dravinam Twameva. Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Love lifted me, oh love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Love lifted me, oh love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted me. Love lifted me, oh love lifted me. When nothing else could help, love lifted
Here we are. So thanks everyone. Like, oh man, I wanted to tell you that that was a photo of my mom. So that sepia photo is my mom, and she. Oh, actually, I'm wearing one of her dresses today. When we cleaned out my mother's closet, she's a very petite woman. She was a very petite woman.
What was your dress size?
Her dress size was size 5. Now I wear a size 22. And this was in her closet. She could not wear it.
Well, her and a dozen of her friends.
Her and a dozen of her friends could wear it, but not her by herself. And my sister-in-law said, "Come look at this. This must be for you. She must have bought this for you," because she could not possibly have worn it. So I was so moved by that, because Mom never acknowledged, you know, anything about my transness. And I felt like this was a gift from her saying, I understand. So yeah, awesome.
So did you know that you can read A Course in Miracles?
I did know that.
Year?
Lena knows that too. If you read 12.8 pages a week, right?
12.8 pages a week. And if you read 12.8 pages a week, you'll find yourself on chapter 2.
Oh.
So chapter 2 is called The Separation and the Atonement. What's chapter 1?
I don't remember.
Miracles.
Miracles. Yeah,
Miracles.
The principles of miracles or something like that. Yeah.
So, and this is called Separation and Atonement.
In chapter 2.
The chapter 2. So the first 5 chapters of A Course in Miracles are really talking about what is going on in the world, right? The kind of what's real world is, and the first thing she talks about in A Course in Miracles is what's possible. All these miracles, right? The incredibleness of miracles. And then in chapter 2, she goes, you know why you don't experience real world, it's because you're making one big, huge error. You don't understand what atonement is, and you really believe that separation is real. And when we talk about separation around these circles, around ACIM and many other places, it means that we've created a God or a thing or a being that's out there.
Right.
It's out there.
Right.
It's completely separated from us, that we have no control over, that we have to please in order to like get on its good side so we can have good things or nice things. Right? That's kind of you have to earn trust. You have to earn God's love. You have to earn like good things happening to you, right? That's kind of the paradigm that we're living in as Western Americans. So she says in chapter 2, well, first of all, let me give you a couple of ideas to hold in your head for this.
Do you want to show them the picture?
We can do that probably in our head. It's not too crazy.
Okay.
So think about this.
Okay.
Have you ever been in a doctor's office where there's a skeleton hanging in the doctor's office?
Or like a chart?
Like what the trope of the plastic skeleton,
right?
Hanging up, right? Well, that is the idea of the scaffolding that the body is on. See, a lot of us don't think of ourselves as a skeleton, although we do contain a skeleton, right? We're a lot more than that. Even what we consider and what we think about as our bodies is really, according to scientists, we're a collective of organisms, right? A full 7 to 10%, depending on who study you're looking at, of us is not us. Right? The biome that lives in your stomach and the things that live in your hair and on your skin and your eyebrow. There's tiny little microscopic spiders that live in your eyebrows. Do you know that? We are a collection of we are a biome. We are a complete biome. So even when we think about like, oh, what's my body? This is my body. Well, actually, we're carrying around a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Right. We require we have to have viruses in order to reproduce as human beings. Right. Because we need the ability to pierce the cell. The semen has to be able to pierce the egg in order to combine the DNA. And the piercing agent is a virus DNA. We don't have that of ourselves. We require a virus in order to reproduce. Microorganisms digest our food for us and make the minerals available to us, right? And all kinds of organisms maintain our bodily features and stuff. We need to have biome on our body. The more that we kill off, the more susceptible to disease we are. We're learning all of this. So this idea that I want to get us is we know, if we think about it, we're not just bodies. We're not these bodies, but they're extremely useful, and they're part of a collective inside of a collective inside of a collective inside of a collective. So we are a community, and we're in a community, and the community is in a community, and that community is in a community, and that community is in a community.
I like it. Wait, this is blowing my mind, actually. Our individual bodies are actually a community. I love that.
Okay. The other concept, and I'm sure that you've seen this because we see it on television a lot, is the big old giant city dump garbage pile.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. You've seen those with the seagulls flying in, and the camera rolls over, and you see Cody Johnson, the Indian, with the tear on his face. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sees the dump and the garbage and everything like that. So that is the idea that there's positive aspects of collective existence, and there are negative ways in which we can use this concept of collective decision making.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If we're one, we're making the decision about the world that we experience. We're doing it, and we're participating in what we want and what we believe in the world. So we have dumps and suffering and pollution and skyscrapers and bridges and incredible, engineering feats because we worked together.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's what we do actually really, really well. One of the incredible things that human beings do that no other animal does effectively as human beings is to pass on knowledge,
Huh.
right? We pass on a ton of knowledge, books and math, right? You didn't have to invent math when you went to elementary school. You didn't have to invent science when you went into college. You didn't
Right.
have to invent law when you went to law school. You didn't
Right.
have to invent, all these things. It was given to us by the world, by people who came before us that wanted to give themselves and us, a way to share and pass on this information. Pretty standard stuff. So why am I talking about that stuff and A Course in Miracles?
Why are you talking about that stuff?
I may tell you. Okay, so yeah, the first
may.
I know if you get, and I may not. I may keep talking and you may not get anything. So that's also perfectly possible. So she says in the first paragraph that the miracle is a means, the atonement is the principle, and healing is the result.
Mm.
Okay, so we're using the miracle to experience
Atonement.
Okay. what is real, and the act of that happening is called healing.
Mm.
But see, this is the fun part. Healing is not a miracle. Healing is not a miracle.
Mm.
Because it's real. It doesn't require an action. It's already, we're correcting something that we got wrong. So healing isn't a miracle. All healing is essential to release from fear. Miracle is a collection.
Read that again.
All healing is essentially
the release
from fear.
Yeah.
And who's making that decision to release it? We are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I would argue, I watched you do it before I was willing to do it.
Oh, really? How so? How do you mean that?
I watched people let go of their fears.
Oh, I see.
So I could. It was modeled for me.
Mm.
I know how to do it, but when I saw it, I recognized it. Healing. So we're talking about means and ends.
Mm-hmm.
Healing is a result.
Mm.
Do we get? It's what happens when we take action on something.
Mm.
Healing is the result. And she says this: atonement is unchanging, so it's reliable. The atonement exists so we can heal.
Right.
We couldn't heal if we weren't all one.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't heal the way the Course in Miracles is talking about healing, which healing is the correction of error. The miracle is the release from fear. Mm-hmm. So it makes reality actually something that we can experience, right? This direct experience that blocks to the awareness that we experience as human beings. Healing is the result of a clearer vision, that clearer understanding. Without fear, would you see more clearly? If you weren't afraid, would you be able to make decisions quicker and without stress and things like that? Of course, that makes perfect sense. Healing is the result of clearer vision. How do you get clearer vision? Right? The fear keeps us in unreality. To experience reality, to experience the reality of oneness, we must be willing to change our minds. Now, this is the freedom that we were talking about. To experience the reality of oneness, we must be willing to change our mind about the things and ideas and people and places that frighten us. Change your mind about what is actually going on when we're frightened. What's happening? What is going? The fear is obscuring what we see. The fear and ignorance is obscuring what we see and the experience of our healing. Get that? We could be experiencing healing if we're willing to examine and look at our fear directly. And then, because the fear is experienced in a body, we can look at it and go, oh, wow, this doesn't feel good. Right? I know what this feeling, I know where this is leading. You ever walk into a room or a bar or an apartment or something, and you go, I don't feel comfortable here.
Right,
I
right.
don't feel. I walked into a subway car and goes, nope,
Yeah.
like that. Nope. Go right in and go right back out. And so our bodies are good at that.
Mm.
They aren't always. They aren't infallible, but our bodies are a learning mechanism that helps us look at fear directly. Because most of the stuff that we do with fear goes, I don't like fear because I don't like how it feels.
Mm. Can I say something?
Sure.
I had a direct experience with this releasing of fear. This, how does she call it? Healing. All healing is essentially the release from fear. So, I've been doing a lot of work and meditation, and something happened this week, and I, in a meditation, saw this collective fear that was inside of me. This, and I saw it as a sticky goo. And I allowed myself to release the goo. And like a tractor beam from Star Trek, some light shined down in the middle of my body here and literally pulled that dark goo out of me.
It's fun.
That was so awesome.
So healing is the result
Yes.
of the release of fear. Once
Yes.
we release the fear, healing happens. It's just the nature of what our bodies do. A major step in the atonement plan is to undo errors at all levels.
Yes.
So see, we're talking about levels here.
Mhm.
Miracles don't have levels, but the plan for atonement and the steps to getting there has levels because we think they're levels.
Mm.
Only the mind is capable of error. The body can act wrongly when it is responding to misthought. Obviously, the body cannot create. And the belief that it can is a fundamental error that produces all physical symptoms.
Wow.
We talked about this not too long ago. Do you remember when I showed you the skeleton of the bird that was decaying?
Right.
And I said, what made that bird? The birdness of the bird made the bird, right? The skeleton didn't make the bird.
Right.
The bird made the skeleton.
Right.
Right. So it's that essential. Can we have an experience of our essential qualities? She doesn't even in this part of the Course in Miracles even go to try to describe to you what an essential quality is or any of that, but can we have a direct experience with what is frightened?
That's interesting.
What would that look like? She tells you directly what it looks like. It looks like sickness. And we're talking about mental illness. We're talking about physical illness. We're talking about sickness, the way it's defined in the Course in Miracles. Sickness is defined in the Course in Miracles as level confusion. What's false is that the causes of my pain and suffering or happiness or whatever is totally outside of myself. That I'm at the mercy of the world. I'm just going to go, poor me. The truth is that what is real, when we talk about what Course in Miracles is, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. What is real is cause. What's real? Look to what is real to engage with, not effects. So she defines a miracle as an action that we take while we're afraid.
Oh my God. An action we take
while we're afraid. That's the miracle.
So you don't have to not be afraid.
No, of course not.
Right.
Of course not. That might even be kind of impossible. Miracles correct level confusion. They don't create healing because that's what we do because we got corrected, because we changed our mind about who we were. And then the healing happens. The miracle is that we're able to see it. We see it and we take action on it.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yep. So the mind can be in error. because it's choosing the wrong voice, right? So it's the belief that creates our bodies. It's not the outside world. The world isn't creating our bodies. Our belief creates our bodies. God creates us as the thought as the thought in her mind, and we're creating the bodies. Bodies don't create because they're effect. The only thing that can create is what is real, what doesn't change. So bodies aren't creating anything. They're effect.
Of cause, right?
They are the effect of cause. Bodies and material world are the effect, or what happens because there is something real. Because there is reality, there is what is affected by what is real. And so the conclusion here in this, so I'm trying to get it at is we're sick anytime that we don't experience only what is real. That's a pretty broad definition, but think about it. We are sick, quote unquote, definition in A Course in Miracles. We are sick anytime that we do not experience only what is real. Our misbeliefs judge and confuse our bodies, and we experience suffering. And here's the funny part about that, or ethical part. We experience this suffering collectively and individually, right? We create pain in our own bodies, and we make garbage dumps that are worse, that are terrible for the planet. We're doing that. Collectively, our beliefs and our beliefs about our body and what they need and what they want and how they're cared for is actually creating health or disease in our lives. Either it's creating mental health or it's creating pathology. We're doing it based on the information that we're getting from the body. So she says the body is a learning device for the mind. The body is a learning device for the mind. The learning devices aren't lessons in and of themselves. The body is merely part of your experience of the physical world. Hopefully that's a relief for a lot of us. The body is just merely one part of your experience of the physical world. You know why? Because your body is the world, Its abilities, your body's abilities, the body's abilities, can be and frequently are over-evaluated. They're too important to you.
Interesting. What do you mean by that?
We make decisions based on giving pleasure and avoiding pain for our bodies at the detriment to our mental and physical health.
Okay.
Those who do so are engaging in a particularly unworthy form of denial. Particularly unworthy form of denial, you exist only as a body. And that's kind of dangerous. So what is the use of the body? How are we supposed to use this body? If we don't want to make it sick, or we want to use it well, we want to be in service to God, or we want to be happy, we got these bodies. What are they for? They're actually to help you do all of that. It's a learning device. Pay attention. There are signals and experiences and feelings that need to be explored and understood. Who are you? How did this body get here? There is no inherent ability to hinder the experience of reality. Do we understand that? There is no inherent ability of your body to hinder your experience of reality. Your body doesn't stop you from giving you reality. Your body's giving you reality. Our judgments on what it's giving to us is what causes us to pull us out of reality, pull us out of the moment. Our experience of the real world is that the material world is what you said here. Our experience of the material world is that we are in the world as our bodies. No, right. That's level confusion. Okay. That's understanding that what's cause and effect. We think our bodies are doing the causing in that sentence. The world as our bodies. We think we are experiencing the world as our bodies. No. We are experiencing the world through maybe you could say, and another metaphor or another way of understanding is you experience the world. You can experience the world through reading a book, some other world, like the world in the past. You experience the past by reading a history book. We experience the world by exploring and being available to the feelings and experiences that our body is having, this device that is giving us all this information. So our bodies give us this sensory experience of our beliefs. And I really want to underline that. Okay. Our bodies give us a sensory experience of our beliefs.
Oh, I like the way you said that. Yeah.
Our bodies give us a sensory experience of our beliefs.
Wow.
And so you're an absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing. And the more we pay attention to what is happening in the world, the deeper the moment can get. The deeper this physical experience can get. The intuition and all this stuff. You ever see an athlete in the flow? Or maybe you were an athlete. I was an athlete in high school. So I used to run track. I can tell you I got some really amazing flow highs running track.
Right.
Where you're just in the zone, and I feel like I'm not doing it. I feel like the run is running me.
Yeah, there you
know?
go.
So being that experience the course is offering us is available all the time, in which if you're writing with what is real, dealing with and interacting with what is real, then we have an opportunity to do what? Make better choices and choose for our happiness. And in the words of A Course in Miracles, save you some time. Right? All righty. Almost done here. So healing becomes available when we're in our right minds, when we're willing to face these fears, when we're willing to experience and be present to our bodies, be in your bodies. Like, don't go away. Just try not to go away. In these healing bodies, there is she calls, this is kind of, the languaging here is problematic for a lot of people. The remedies that we seek for the bodies that are in pain, she calls magic. But she also says they're useful and helpful.
Right.
Okay. You know, what's it goes, you think what's lesson 50?
Oh, well, lesson 50 is I am sustained by the love of God. But
you think we're sustained by
by all the other things.
That's what she's talking about here. We think that the remedy for our uncomfortable body or our fear is something outside of us, and it's not. But it can be, because we've placed that job in pills and glasses and things like that. Okay.
Yes.
So the body creates its own illness is a false idea. Our beliefs are creating that illness. It's that sickness. And it's not good or bad. It's what?
It's what it is.
It's what we're supposed to learn from.
Right.
It's
our learning
there
device.
to help us learn from trying to, we're choosing this lesson. Fear is what weakens us. And then we can show that with any kind of medical information. Stress weakens the body. It even shortens your life. Fear weakens us. Facing our fear isn't about panic or stressing the body. That's what we get weird. I don't want to face my fear because I get so nervous. I get so crazy. It isn't about stressing your body more by facing your fears.
It's actually a relief.
It's actually to look at it as much as you can, much as you possibly can, to turn and face the fear. Just face it. We've developed lots of healing modalities as human beings, and that's great. We should use all of them to help our material comfort, to help the comfort for ourselves and the suffering of others. We should use all means at our disposal to alleviate the suffering of others. The Course's promise is that by facing our fear of atonement, of this joining idea, we can experience the joining idea. But I can't join your body. I can't crawl in your body, and I can't crawl in your head. But we are one. I can experience that. So, the body is an expression. We are expressions of the atonement. We have a mind and a body, what I call the bodhicitta, that is giving us good information. We are expressions of the miracle. Expressions of it. There's no fear in a mind, and there's no fear in a body with the miracle. The miracle removes fear from your mind. The miracle heals fear in the body. So, and there's not only one expression of it. There's not only one way to express yourself as a body. There is no higher level of expression. There's no deeper level of expression. It's you. That's what's important. The aim of this miracle, of this course in miracles, the aim of the miracle is to raise the level of communication or expression of the love of God. The aim of the miracle is to raise the level of communication or your expression of the love of God.
Wow.
Learning to do that well, doing it at a high skill level, means that we're willing to look directly at any fear that gets in the way of our self-expression in this body, right? of who we are as the child of God. Who we are as the child of God. All the things that are stopping us from showing up and delivering that to the world is what we're afraid of. And we can look at it and have the ability to do that, because I would offer that we are a living atonement. We are the living atonement. And with that
really
idea,
is
I want to
beautiful.
remind you that I'm Reverend Glenn Martin Ganaway, your favorite anarchist preacher, and you're at church for the 2-drink minimum.
Hey, human.
Hey, human.
That was lovely.
Wasn't it
my
nice?
love. Yes.
Really nice. It's one of my favorite.
So-
Oh, and by the way, that's the first time I've ever taught that lesson, because I try not to overload my Course in Miracles students with the whole concept of the body and what it's for first out of the gate. But you guys can handle it. Take us out, sweetie.
I am. So today I just wanted to sing the entire song, We Are Angels.
Aww.
And I wanted to play and sing it. And
Do you want to play it on the
here we
video?
go. No, I'm just
Okay.
gonna play it on the guitar here. And my love for you has no bounds. You know, we are all one. We are angels. Why do you feel so out of place? So out of touch with the human race? You don't seem to understand why your brother won't lend a helping hand. Why do people tear apart? Ooh, your tender hearts. Why does the nighttime seem so dark? When the light shines inside your heart, we are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human. You tell me of the things you feel. You push away the new growing need. You tell me of your fantasies. I love the way that you speak honestly. Why is it so hard to love the one you've been dreaming of? Don't you see yourself in me? Don't you see what we can be? We are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human. Time heals all pain. That's the way of the world. Time will bring you around again. Ooh, that's the way
Sing it with us.
of the world. We are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human. We are angels. We are angels, and we're struggling to be human.
We love you.
We love you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And we're
Wow.